Higurashi when they cry. Kamikashimashi. Chapter. The tragedy spreads to okinomiya, with no end in sight. Who was behind all of this, and for what purpose? Can it be stopped? The tale of Higurashi opera concludes here. The difficulty is inhuman. Please watch over the club members. Final battle. In the distant town of Okinomiya, we saw smoke rising from fires here and there. We had a very clear view of it as it hung ominously over the whole town. Occasionally the wind carried the sound of screams, raging, and unidentifiable. These portentous noises echoing in the quiet town. It sounds like something's dying cry. This isn't just Hinamizawa, huh? Does this mean the virus has finally spread to Okinomiya? Rika? Rika had stayed behind Hinamizawa of her own volition. We tried to stop her since it was dangerous. But seeing this sight maybe it really was better to stay in Hinamizawa where we knew our way around. Mian was still injured, but for the time being she seemed stable. Still, she'd only been given first aid. She still needed to see a doctor. The rioters had broken into the Erie clinic, so it was abandoned and Erie was nowhere to be found. Anyway, we need to find you a doctor. I'm doing fine, sure it hurts, but it's settled down a lot. No, if you don't get proper treatment, then it could fester later. We'll just have to search for a doctor. It's hard to imagine any doctors are open for business with things like this. Let's head for the office of the Sonozaki group. My mother and the others are there. Should be able to do something. You think Chishan's there too? Given what's happened there, that's the safest place to be. I just hope those people are still reasonable. Anyway, let's check out the town. We can't stay up here forever. Right. Is this disaster only happening here, or has it expanded out to the rest of Japan? We don't know anything here in Hinamizawa. The idea that this could be happening all over the world. I don't want to think about it. Let's go. I'm alright, I can walk by myself. Normally we'd go to Okinomiya by bicycle, but it was easy to imagine that rioters would be acting like the neighborhood watch here in Okinomiya, just like they were in Hinamizawa. The whole virus commotion originated in Hinamizawa, so the people in Okinomiya should naturally view everyone coming from Hinamizawa as an enemy. We decided it was too dangerous to move on roads, likely with a watch on them, so we headed there on foot using the back paths instead. The kind of routes used by gatherers, the elderly, and the children that ran around in the fields of Hinamizawa were the safest ones. While Keiichi and the others headed to Okinomiya, Keiichi's parents had evacuated themselves to the Sonozaki secret underground tunnels. There were already some resources stored down there, so they'd be safe for a while. Still, they needed to reach a place that was even safer, one with plenty of food and medical treatment. Confirming whether or not such a safe space even existed was their biggest objective behind scouting out Okinomiya. There's mounds of corpses. It's an awful sight. The miserable remains of those beaten to death by the rioters lay here and there on the shoulders of the streets. Even Hanyu shook her head at the swarm of flies and the pervasive stench of death. But it's grown quieter. Yes, it has. This is about the time when nearly all of those who let the demons of paranoia into their hearts die off after trying to kill each other. That roaring wind that was like the ominous groan of a dragon could no longer be heard. All that enveloped Hinamizawa in its place was the silence of death, the screams of those who allowed the demons into their hearts and began killing each other could no longer be heard either. But it doesn't hurt to be cautious. True. I can't die before I see how this crazy world ends. Where are you going? The Erie Clinic's basement. That should be the safest place in Namizawa right now, don't you think? The underground research ward was filled with the silence of death as well. So as long as she didn't mind the corpses and the trails of bright red blood splatter staining the pale white walls, it was the perfect place to hide out for a while. Are there still violent ones in the village? Yes, I think I should quiet down soon, but for now. Then it's settled. Let's wait for the heat to die down. We should be able to find someone's drinks and snacks down there. Plus the bathrooms are nice. Rika and Hanyu made their way to the Erie Clinic. After all that time they spent researching the disease, it turned out they were just a den of incompetence, unable to do anything at all. They passed through the animal trails in the mountains, and through footpaths between the fields. Sometimes they held their breath and tried to sense the presence of nearby people, while other times they ran like rabbits. Then once they jumped right over the guardrails, they were in okinomiya. Every now and then, the wind would carry a roar from the distance, along with smoke and the smell of something burning. The town was deathly quiet, but it wasn't dead. The rioters who allowed paranoia into their hearts were only lying in wait as they teemed with rage. It might be more dangerous here than in Hinamizawa. Agreed. I got nothing but bad feelings about this. Are there riots here because of fear about the virus as well? This is just my theory, but I think this might be a symptom of the virus, actually. Maybe so. What do you mean? So, it's like a human version of rabies. I mean, rabies does go to humans. I thought everyone was going crazy out of fear of the killer virus, but that's not enough to explain everything. An illness that stokes unfounded fears and suspicions until the victim is driven by nothing else. Does a disease like that really exist? I mean, they never mention any of that on TV. TV doesn't always tell the truth. Besides, there's a possibility the killer virus part was just a wrong guess. They're both equally frightening, that's for sure. But why are we fine then? Maybe we're resistant? Well, even if we're not showing any symptoms. We can't rule out the possibility that we're still carrying the disease. Is it really okay for us to go into a city like this? It shouldn't be a problem, not judging by this state of affairs. We advanced carefully, checking to make sure the roads were clear. Abandoned cars formed lines on the city streets. Some cars had crashed into each other and were still smoking at various intersections. Even on the sidewalks, we saw the scattered remains of people murdered under suspicion of being infected. I just hope Shion and Mion's parents are still sane. Mom and Dad are keeping everyone in line, I'm sure. Shion-san does have a quick temper. There is a huge gap between how Shi-chan acts when she's calm and when she isn't. I'm a little worried about her. She'll be fine. Shion won't talk back to Mom at times like this. I'm sure Mom will be keeping everyone organized. If Oryu had been healthy, even the Hinamizawa Town Council wouldn't have lost its cool. Mien had already gotten a taste of how strong leadership could prevent chaos ahead of time. This virus probably drives people to attack others out of fear and anxiety, so with strong leadership, teamwork, and trust, they should be able to maintain their senses. You think the virus commotion fostered fear? It's a never-ending feedback loop. And their terror ran rampant? That idea feels right to me. At the very least, even Hinamizawa didn't start acting weird up until the JSDF left and stopped doing their jobs. That is true. Once the JSDF, everyone grew frightened all at once. And the world went mad. Satoko raised her voice to note that sudden memory. That reminds me, Rika said something too. She said that people with strong hearts will be fine, since you won't hand them over to the demons. Rika-chan said that. Yes, I just assumed she meant something along the lines of illness starts in the mind, but... I mean, same thing. Maybe there is a chance she meant exactly what she said. There was that moment when the blood rushed to our heads when Ren and I went to rescue Satoko. Maybe that was really risky for the two of us. Maybe so, but we managed to stay calm even as that fire burned strong in our hearts. Let your heart run hot and keep your thoughts cool. Maybe the reason we didn't end up like the others is because we've been training ourselves for these kinds of situations in Mion's club. If you lose your cool and hand your heart over to the primal emotions, then you go crazy. If you call that the result of that process a demon, then it fits with the legends passed down from long ago about Onagafushi village. You mean that legend, about demons coming up out of the swamp. I'm sure something similar to this happened long ago, and I'm positive that people thrown into paranoia running around out of control were called demons. Makes sense. I think we're getting a grasp of what's going on. Still, if there were legends left about it, then that means the whole thing was settled and people survived. So this isn't hopeless. We have hope. Right. This commotion isn't going to destroy the world. There is guaranteed to be a way to end it. Is waiting for Oyoshiro-sama to descend the only option we have? That's how it ended back then, according to the legends, and people were unable to do anything except wait for Oyoshiro-sama's descent. Are you saying all we can do is wait? Even with all of this going on? If we're to follow the legends, yeah, come on already, Oyoshiro-sama. If you're out there watching this, then make with the descent and put a stop to this. Achoo! Can gods catch colds? Ow. Humans aren't the only ones that can sneeze, you know. The Uri clinic had been ransacked by rioters, believing the rumors that a cure was hidden here. They had swarmed it in mass, but that only applied to the sections on the surface. The riot hadn't extended to the secret research ward underground. There was nothing here, though. If Erie were around, he would have taken action long ago. We mustn't avert our eyes. There were several corpses gathering flies there in the plundered clinic. Those who believed in the cure ultimately became convinced that someone there was hiding it and began to kill each other. Hanyu covered her eyes after all, but Rika stepped over the corpses without any concern. Some of the corpses were even familiar faces to her, but Rika didn't seem to care. She passed through the secret door and headed underground. It was far safer to stay behind the secret security door than on the surface. After all the researchers here were either murdered or committed suicide. There was nothing safer than a place completely devoid of others. The security system confirmed it was Rika Furude, and then the door opened. Even though her expression never changed at the sight of the corpses, she heaved a sigh of relief once she confirmed the door was shut behind her. Now we can do as we please. Be that sleep through this or snack on the treats someone stored down here. There's no one else here. There's no one else here after all. I'm surprised you're able to stay so calm amidst that dreadful sight. I don't know if that's you being strong or shameless. I've experienced death, even my own, more times than I can count. So why should some stranger's corpse faze me at this point? We're desensitized. The old Rika was cuter. She was as scared as one should be for your age. What should I fear at this point? Well, I suppose you could summon up a ghost. I'd be a little surprised if you did that. Huh? What is it, Rika? What is it, Rika? Don't start scaring me, okay? The underground ward was supposed to be empty, but she thought she heard something just then. Was it her imagination? They both glanced at each other, held their breath, and strained their ears. You hear that, right? Is it a ghost? You're practically a ghost yourself, so why are you afraid? Still, what is this sound? Far off in the distance there was a th. They could hear that dull sort of sound repeating over and over. They both nodded to each other and strained their ears, trying to identify the source of the sound. Kill them, kill the infected, kill them, and burn their corpses. A group of 10 young riders dashed down the main street. Their clothes were stained with the spray of blood, and their eyes were bloodshot. The bats and metal pipes in their hands were dripping with blood, and were bent in unsettling directions. If those people find us, then we're really in trouble. Were they college students? I guess this won't be as easy as facing Hinamizawa's elderly. We are fine, I think. They haven't found us. Phew, this is a real pickle. The insane youths were dashing whenever they heard some commotion. Then they killed those who fled. Those who begged for their lives and occasionally those who stood against them. They truly were acting like bloodthirsty demons. That very sight was most likely what the legends of Onikafushi village were passing down. Is the office far from here? In terms of distance, no. But if we're trying to avoid the main street, then it's surprisingly hard to get to. The main street is full of crazies either running around everywhere or killing each other. Then let us practice safety first. Damn it. Quiet. We heard the rattling of an empty can rolling around somewhere behind us. Someone had kicked the empty can trap Satoko set up earlier. They weren't keeping quiet either. We could hear the loud voices of the rioters drawing close. They had finally started searching the back alleys too in their search for more to kill. This is bad. They'll catch up to us. But we can't exactly run either. They'll find us. We have to hide and wait them out. Bring those trash cans over here. Create cover. Hurry. K-chan, grab that one. Yeah. Wow, it was an unfortunate mistake. Kiichi's foot slipped on some of the garbage scattered around the trash can, and he went down, can and all. The loud clatter echoed throughout the back of the alley. Hey, I heard something. It must be another infected. Others responded to that call, their war cries full of madness and rage, roaring in the distance. The cries came from both behind and in front of them. It's a pincer attack. We can't fight here. That'll only draw in even more of them. We'll have to break through the front. Let's push through to the office. Ow. Ow? So seriously. Keiichi-kun, did you sprain your leg? Everyone's blood froze in an instant, because that meant they just lost their one and only best option. Mion lent Keiichi her shoulder and quickly issued orders. Satoko, find our way out. Rena, weapons. I'm already on it. This is all I could find. Rena held up a sign prohibiting bicycle parking. It would at least serve to frighten others as she swung it around at them. But their greatest weapon of all was the look in Rena's eyes, filled with her resolve to protect her friends. Whenever Rena was prepared to defend something precious to her, she showed no mercy or hesitation.